If you're enjoying these videos, subscribe. Let YouTube know that I'm doing a good job by subscribing to the channel. Plus, you'll get notified when I have new videos coming out. And finally, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, give it a like. Just click on that thumbs up, and that way YouTube knows that you like it, and they'll pass it along to other people that might enjoy my content as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you again. Let's get started.
So this is my next file. So this is about giving you yung details about biochar and other soil amendments. So I think from here you will be having many questions or information that you may ask more. Okay, let's revisit biochar. So this is now the shifting paradigm in soil quality management. This is just to inform you that abroad, biochar is not a very unique topic. Kasi sa atin, when you say biochar, even in my university, I'm asking my colleague if they know about biochar. Zero knowledge. So meaning to say, it is not that popular in our country. I have several projects on biochar, so I have lots of things to share with you. So the high productivity in sites of a terra preta in the Amazon River Basin was maintained for thousands of years because of the substantial contribution in the stability of carbon against microbial delay. So talking about biochar, lagi siyang nare-relate. Maybe if you will be hearing people also lecturing on biochar, laging naka-associate dito yung Amazon River Basin, because that is a very good representative of this tinatawag nilang terra preta. Terra preta, as I have indicated here, is a soil building technique developed by ancient Amazonian civilization as a solution to permanently solve the poor tropical soil fertility. According to record, it is at least 7,000 years ago. So in Portuguese, terra preta means it is literally black soil. Ayun ang kanyang kahulugan. So it is a very dark, ang tawag fertile anthropogenic soil. Pag sinabing anthropogenic, it is artificial, or not really in the sense that this is artificial. It is originating in human activity. That is the reason why na-develop ito noon sa Amazon River Basin. And this is always being found, many of these are found in Amazon River Basin. Just I have indicated here, this is a soil building technique, and that is the reason it is anthropogenic, so artificial, hindi siya natural. This is not made by by natural processes. So these are those civilization that merong human intervention. So the high productivity in the area might be attributed to the fertility of the terra preta that is also associated with its high content of char. Pag sinabi po yung word kasi ng biochar, means sometimes in many literatures, it is called also as char. So if you still have some confusion, I will just to clear it up, para lang malaman natin before we go further. Charcoal, ito yung pinaka very common sa atin, is produced to be used as a source of energy. Ginagamit natin ang charcoal para sa ating iba-ibang way, but the very common one is para sa pagluluto. Biochar, on the other hand, this is being produced to be incorporated directly into the soil or used as soil amendment. So doon pa lang, meron siya nakaagad na purpose. So charcoal and biochar are both products of thermal decomposition of biomass in the absence of oxygen gas under low temperatures. So the production of biochar will be dependent on many things. Ano yung feedstock mo, ano yung gagamitin mo, anong gagamitin mong biochar tool o kaya biochar machines, o you can have it anong temperature na requirement ng mga feedstock. So maraming dapat tingnan. So this is not just simply burning. So like I have mentioned earlier, biochar is basically classified through its production process and with its intended use. It is specifically produced with the purpose of incorporating into the soil that I have mentioned earlier to improve soil productivity, carbon storage, or filtration of soil percolating water. On the other hand, yung ating common charcoal has no formal classification system. So this is just an example that yung mga early feedstock that I have used under my funded by DOST, NRCP DOST. Ito yung water hyacinth, mahogany receptacle flower, biochar. We have the rice hull, rice straw, and the corn cob. So like I have said, it is defined as a solid material obtained from thermochemical conversion of biomass. It is a black carbon that is produced intentionally as soil amendment for carbon management, agricultural or environmental management application. Maybe you will be asking, bakit ito ang ginamit ko? Bakit itong mga feedstock? Ang tawag ay mga materials, yung mga waste, o kaya technically, ang very common tinatawag na feedstock. Meron po kasing international protocol, yung International Biochar Initiative sa US. Ito yung grupo na nag-initiate itong biochar. Meron silang protocol na hindi yung tinatawag protocol of sustainability. Hindi dapat gumawa o kaya gumamit ng biochar o kaya magsunog ng mga materials na merong primary purposes. Kailangan ito yung mga abundant waste in the environment so that we will be able to have one of its purpose, environmental management application. You have this waste, abundant waste, you make it, you convert it into biochar para ma-manage mo yung waste, at the same time you improve the environment through its application. So biochar can also be a significant tool to increase food security and cropland diversity in areas with severely washed out soil, scarce organic resources, and insufficient supply of water and fertilizer. Masyado siyang ambisyosa. Biochar is very ambitious to deal with food security and cropland diversity. Mamaya po, probably you want to mark this one, itong food security and cropland diversity, because I will be associating food security sa soil sustainability. Ano ba ang contribution ng soil organic amendment sa lupa to be able to ensure you o kaya increase food security? And also, ano bang kinalaman ng diversity? Kasi po, ano ba tong katangian ng biochar to help you increase to enhance biodiversity. Sa akin kasi, it is soil biodiversity. So it can be used in a range of applications as an agent for soil improvement, improve resource use efficiency of the land, and remediation protection for any soil threat. Many countries are using this on different ways. Pwede silang gamitin sa control of pollution, soil and water pollution. Ginagamit nila also to improve those sandy soil properties and so on. Maraming pwedeng i-research tungkol sa usefulness of biochar. So, in physical terms, biochar is simply the charred remains formed when plant material is heated in an oxygen-free environment. And this is the process the scientists call pyrolysis. Oxygen-free environment, o kaya very little oxygen. So unlike charcoal, which is very similar in terms of appearance, biochar is created specifically to improve the soil structure and enhance crop productivity. Mamaya po, ipakita ko sa inyo yung paano siya nag-enhance ng soil o improve soil structure. We can, among the physical properties of soil, we can improve the soil structure kasi po, yun yung pwede nating, yun yung among the soil properties, siya yung pwede nating paglaruan compared to soil texture, which are, soil separates are permanent. Okay. So maybe iisa-isahin ko, dadandahanin ko kasi medyo technical to ha. Okay. The total amount of energy, yung tinatawag nating net energy, yielded from the thermal decomposition, ito yung pyrolysis, is positive. Meaning, it generates more energy than it consumes. Kapag ikaw ay nagsunog, yung net energy na tinatawag sa pagsunog, pag yung energy mo ay nagamit mo lahat. Let's say, ginamit mo ang isang material, and then you have nagluto ka with using its energy, and after one naging ash. So ibig sabihin the net energy is positive. Because not all of the carbon is combusted in pyrolysis, approximately around 10 to 50% of the total carbon is retained as biochar. Significant carbon can be returned to the soil, and therefore the process is considered to be carbon negative. So during pyrolysis, hindi lahat nasusunog. You have now this approximately 10 to 50% na natitira sa carbon. Kaya yung biochar, you may have this amount of carbon. And then when you apply this into the soil, so yun yung proseso na tinatawag na carbon negative. And this will be leading to carbon sequestration. At the same time, we are also, the reason why biochar is being associated then sa carbon, minimizing the release of greenhouse gases because of these characteristics, yung carbon negative. So if plants actively remove carbon from the atmosphere through photosynthesis. Alam nyo ba ang proseso ng photosynthesis kung matatandaan ninyo? So we need to use carbon. So meaning to say, the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, the CO2 plus water, H2O, will be yielding carbohydrates o kaya sugar, C6H12O6 plus oxygen. So yun yung ating photosynthesis. So meaning to say that the process will be carbon neutral if all of the carbon were emitted. So during photosynthesis, the use of this carbon from the carbon dioxide, because we know sa photosynthesis, yan yung pinaka-active component ng photosynthesis, removing, using this CO2. Of course, meron siyang carbon, and tandem with the water, ang kanyang i-emit, yung sinasabi natin, ay nawala lahat yung carbon, and this is now the carbon neutral. Because not all because not all of the carbon is combusted. Ulitin ko lang yung statement kanina, just to make it sure, significant carbon can be returned to the soil as carbon negative. Ang ibig ko lang sabihin dito ay the negative carbon dioxide emission o yung negative emission or a process that is carbon negative gives a permanent removal of the greenhouse gas carbon dioxide from the Earth's atmosphere. And it is considered the direct opposite of carbon dioxide emission, hence its name. So kanina, during the photosynthesis, we say that is carbon neutral because we are getting the carbon dioxide, the carbon from the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. So I reiterate now again that this carbon negative give us o kaya the permanent removal of this CO2 from the Earth atmosphere. That's why nalilesen yung ating greenhouse gases. 'Di ba ang ating very abundant mga gases causing this greenhouse gas emission ay itong mga nitrous oxide, CO2 and the methane. So itong biochar is reducing the removal of this carbon dioxide. We know that carbon is very important to everyone. Ano ang difference ng lagi kong tanong to sa aking mga estudyante. Anong difference ng isang chemical fertilizer and organic fertilizer? Carbon. Organic fertilizer, merong carbon. Ang chemical fertilizer ay walang carbon na maiitulong sa soil. So, we need to have a carbon. So, in this slide, we have this photosynthesis. You see the atmospheric use ng carbon dioxide to the photosynthesis by plant roots, plant shoots, and of course, at nighttime, we have this respiration. The opposite of photosynthesis is respiration, happening at nighttime. So we have these plant shoots, and with the help of our soil organism, the flora and the fauna, the macro, micro, and the micro and macro flora and fauna. Meron pa pala tayong micro, meso, and macro flora and fauna ay tumutulong sila sa decomposition. And this is now with the formation of humus o yung organic matter. Don't forget, humus is can be found in the last stage of the decomposition process. Many people is associating humus sa organic matter. Kaya humus ay natatagpuan lamang yan doon sa last stage of the decomposition ng organic material because hindi na siya kayang i-degrade ng soil organisms. So with this, napaka-importante ang tulong ng mga soil organisms to be able to help us in the process of decomposition. So carbon balance within the soil, mga brak, is controlled by carbon inputs from photosynthesis and carbon losses by respiration. carbon losses by respiration. Sa the importance of carbon balance with this diagram, we know that the human society is literally built on soil. It feeds the world and produces, the functions that I have mentioned earlier, especially the vital fuel and fiber. But most people really give soil a second thought. So recently, with this happening, we have the Winter Olympics in China. Nag-started na ngayon ng increase in the amount of chemical fertilizer. We have now affected by kahit tayo ay very remote sa Russia and Ukraine. This their war are also is also affecting us. So with this recent development, kaya sa nangyayari globally, soil has been getting some well-deserved attention from the environmental organizations, policymakers, and industry leaders. So you may find them. It has been covered in news articles, argued over in policy debates, and has even received an International Day of Recognition. Merong tinatawag na World Soils Day every December 5. Kumbaga every year we celebrated World Soils Day every December 5 of the year. So why all this attention? Because the world urgently needs ways to keep carbon out of the atmosphere because of the climate change, and to build food security for a rapidly growing global population. Soil can do both. Soil can help us in combating the increase in greenhouse gases, and at the same time help us in building food security. How many Filipinos na ba? What is the recent Filipino population? 120 millions? So how you will be able to feed this increasing population? And don't forget, napakabilis ng ating land use change. Napakabilis ng conversion ng prime agricultural lands into other land uses. So how will you feed the increasing millions of Filipinos? So the current efforts to promote carbon storage in soil miss a key point. Not all soil carbon are the same. Is the same. So we need now to understand really, kaya binigyan ko kayo ng introduction about understanding soil. As scientists focusing on soil ecology and sustainability, I believe that managing soil carbon effectively requires taking its differences into account. So I have here another slide. So you can see here the solar energy. And you can see again how the solar energy be used up by the plant. Soil organisms release carbon dioxide to respiration as the opposite of photosynthesis. And then plants exude carbohydrates to its roots to feed soil organisms. Plants use carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil to build carbohydrates. So this is just a cycle of soil of carbon. So the carbon dioxide stated here from the atmosphere enters the soil through this decomposing plant matter, root exudates, and the soil organisms that feed on them. So with this graph, building up soil carbon can help cut greenhouse gas concentrations in the air. It also improves soil quality in many ways. So it gives soil structure, stores water and nutrients that plants need, and feeds soil organisms. Gustong-gusto po ng bakterya ang carbon. Kasi ginagamit nila yon sa kanilang mga activities. Ganon din po ang mga protozoa. Kailangan nila yon. They also need nitrogen as their food. So, magkakaiba lamang ng ratio kung alin ang importante sa bawat organism. Ang bakterya, mas importante sa kanya ang nitrogen. Ang sa protozoa, mas gusto niya ang nutrient like carbon. So meaning to say that even if carbon in soil doesn't exist on its own, it is combined with oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, and other elements in compounds that scientists collectively call soil organic matter. So this material is amazingly complex stuff made of thousands of different chemical compounds that remain from the decomposition and transformation of plants, animals, and microorganisms. That is the reason why yung isang slide ko po sa first lecture ko, my last slide is the role of organic matter, because that will be the source of carbon. So adding to this complexity, alam ko po na medyo technical ang karamihan, carbon can be found in many physical states within the soil. It can be dissolved in water, present in larger chunks o tinatawag nating particulates, enveloped by soil particles or bonded to minerals. So these various forms all behave differently and ultimately have different impacts on plant growth, soil structure, and carbon sequestration. So the challenge to us, especially for those people or for those groups who really want to go into organic, o yung mga nag-organic na, because it's been years that we are already promoting organic or organic farming. So the challenge is how to conceptually divide up all to these different forms without getting completely lost in the soil. Because we have lots of soil, diba? Sabi ko nga, so one of the basic processes is loss. This is the challenge, how we will be able to keep this carbon and avoid these losses. And we in the department, we in my office and also in some other agencies, we are still studying how to conserve, but still we cannot avoid this natural phenomenon. We also can afford the soil erosions happening. We cannot avoid soil conversion, land conversion. We cannot avoid that because hindi naman tayo pag hindi natin pag-aari lahat. So the only thing that we can do is just to preserve what is remaining. So we need now to understand how to improve the remaining soil resources by these organic soil amendments. Okay, I just want to add more before I close my discussion on this slide. You can see that you have this decomposition, the pieces of decaying plant and animals, and then you have these soil microbes, different soil fauna and flora. And I have here the microscopic organic molecules is more organic. And this on this you can see the particulate organic matter, and this one is the mineral associated organic matter. So ang lifetime daw, according to research, is 1 to 50 years. So ibig sabihin, they have a very fast cycling. And if you have a fast cycling, you can see that carbon is more than the nitrogen. On the other hand, mineral-associated organic matter, the lifetime is 10 into 1,000 years. And you have a slow cycling. And more of the nitrogen, when you compared with the particulate organic matter, the composition of nitrogen is greater than the particular. Mas marami sa mineral-associated organic matter. Now, with this explanation, we just treat them that it is like money in the bank. Lagi ko ito sinasabi rin sa mga estudyante ko. So it helps to think about these two types of soil carbon, like a checking and a savings account. Yung particulate organic matter is the checking account. It receives money every payday but gets pretty quickly to cover everyday expenses. Kailangan mong bayaran. We have lots of bill. So if you have check, bayaran mo ang bayaran daw lahat ng mga utilities. So mineral-associated organic matter, on the other hand, is the savings account. It usually receive less money from each paycheck, but that money isn't spent as quickly. Can you get it? O kaya, sabihin natin, meron kang dalawang ATM. Yung isa ay para sa salary ATM. The other one is sa savings ATM. When you receive, kasi sa amin po dito sa LB, we receive our salary every 2 weeks, fortnightly. So, meaning to say, after receiving that, ibabayaran na mga utilities. So, bago uli magsusunod na buwan, halos wala na, baka minimum na lang, yung minimum requirement na lang ng amount sa bangko ang natitira. Let's say 500 pesos. If you earn more than that, nauubos lahat sa bayaran o kaya gimmick. On the other hand, you have your savings. Itong savings, minsan ka lang mag-deposit. Kasi hindi naman siya nakaka-receive lagi. Hindi ka naman lagi nakaka-receive itong iyong ATM sa iyong savings unless you have an extra. So, but the money isn't spent as quickly. Hindi mo naman siya ginagamit. So, if you have unexpected expenses, kapag halimbawa ay gusto mo o kaya ay knock on wood, nagkasakit ka, yung iyong mga checking accounts na di-drain na. And then, wala ka nang halos makuha sa checking account mo, pati yung savings account mo ay makukuha mo. If this happens over and over, eventually, both accounts go broke. This is exactly what happens when an ecosystem loses lots of soil carbon. So, plowing o kaya yung tinatawag nating cultivation causes faster carbon breakdown. So, the existing particulate organic matter is lost rapidly. On the other hand, the mineral-associated organic matter is the only thing left to help sustain soil life and plant growth. To make matters worse, annual crops tend to have tiny roots that do not add much carbon into the soil. Put another way, they have very low paychecks. Ibig sabihin, hindi naman sila nagre-receive, hindi ka naman nagdi-deposit So, they don't have this amount that is being deposited to your savings account ATM. So, this means that the particulate organic matter and the mineral-associated organic matter are not replenished and continue to decline. if you will not be doing any extra job, o kaya naman if you will not be having some loans coming from credit, yung credit cooperative or something like from tao, from any other sources in the form of more decomposing plant matter, soils will go broke and become less healthy and productive. So that's the analogy. This is very important to understand how this organic matter will help us to go into a healthy soil. We may forget soil fertility because many of us are just looking doon sa soil, doon sa crop yield. Naka-focus tayo doon, but you forget about the sustainability issue. And this will happen lagi ang lupa ninyo ay broke. Kumbaga, zero balance. So this is very important to understand that we need to conserve what is remaining. We need to do. And at this point, management is very important factor to be able to understand the relationship between this particulate organic matter and the mineral associated organic matter. Okay? So, yun lang yung explanation on how important is the carbon. Okay, punta ulit tayo sa biochars. So, there are many ways to produce biochars. Pwedeng tinatawag na carbonization. We have the slow pyrolysis, the fast pyrolysis, and the gasification. So, to define, I have given you the definition here. Carbonization is the traditional method for making charcoal. Emits greenhouse gases such as the methane and the sooty black particles, referred to as the black carbon, which could be detrimental to the climate system and the human health. So slow pyrolysis is slightly more technologically advanced and can optimize for biochar production with approximately 40% of the biomass transformed into biochar. Itong sinasabi nating biomass, I will be explaining later sa mga examples ko, sa mga feedstock that I have used, and determine how much of this biomass because nag-change sila depende sa properties nung gigamitin yung agricultural o industrial waste. So fast pyrolysis is generally used to maximize the bio-oils but also generate a fair amount of biochar. So maybe you may encounter other way like this fast pyrolysis. Kaya lang you prioritize other products of pyrolysis. Hindi, kung matatandaan nyo, sa Bureau of Salts, meron silang mososaku, vinegar. So this is product of pyrolysis also, and the type ng kanyang production is fast pyrolysis. They are producing biochar in small quantity because they prioritize the use of this vinegar. So gasification for energy production and minimal biochar production. So what I'm now referring, yung ginamit ko at naka-develop kami ng isang stove, yung biochar producing stove, ito po yung under slow pyrolysis. So before I start yung mismong experiment ko on biochar, I conducted a national symposium on biochar, and before doing that, I need to collect information on the charcoal making in the uplands and hilllands. So I went to Penro office and asked if saan maraming charcoal. Sabi nila wala na raw silang record on that. Kasi marami na tayo syempleng law. We have the Clean Air Act, we have many laws about burning. So, saka yung ating air pollution. So, what I did, I visited many LGUs, especially the DA offices in Laguna, and then nakita ko, I have documented this charcoal making in the uplands and hilly lands of Pagbilao, Quezon, and Kalayaan, Laguna. So ito yung way nila na start, and then they will be putting these grasses dito, and then lalagyan para ito ng mud para yung isi-still. So this is the one that I use. So different types of slow pyrolytic biochar producing to. Slow pyrolysis dapat. Biochar producing stove. So this coming from Vietnam. This is coming from Nepal. So ito ay sa Vietnam, and these are those that are being used in Vietnam also. And this is a kiln, biochar kiln. I have taken this picture sa aming meetings sa China. So they're also producing, this is community production of biochar using this drum. Yung tawag dito ay kiln. And this is the one that I have developed with engineers from BPSU, Bataan Peninsula State University. So this is the stove that I normally use for the production of different biochars. So this is just to make you understand how biochar works. So the soil fertility benefits of biochar rest onto two pillars. The one is the extremely high affinity of nutrients to biochar and other compounds. Ito yung adsorption. So kung makikita nyo, adsorption, I will be explaining later about this. And the extremely high persistence of biochar, which is its stability. So biochar are also very popular on nutrient affinity. So all organic matter added to soil significantly improves various soil functions. The retention of several essential nutrients to plant because of, the one that I have explained earlier is about the role of organic matter. And one of the special characteristics of biochar is that it is more effective in retaining nutrients that is available to plants compared to other organic matter such as leaf litter, compost, or animal manure. If not more effective, probably sabihin natin i-equate na lang natin sa organic matter because the characteristic of biochar is the adsorption. So I will be explaining that doon sa pag nag-apply na because of the property niya, yung adsorption, saka yung kanyang tinatawag na porosity. Through venturing on these slides, I will be explaining the importance of this adsorption sa CEC, ion exchange capacity, and also the retention of these several essential nutrients. Also, biochar is more persistent than any other form of organic matter being applied in the soil. So hence, biochar has a longer term effect with its benefits in the retention of nutrients and soil fertility as against to other nutrient strategies. So in addition to that, biochar can also be used for mitigating climate change as a potential sink of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere that I have explained earlier. So these are the key benefits of biochar application. So to maintain integrity of the soil ecosystem, it is very good in soil remediation against protection against certain environmental pollution. So yes, we have these different types of remediation practices to help us remove these pollutants in soil and water, and they identify biochar as one of these. You may recall before the passing of DNR Secretary Gina Lopez, she mentioned about the application of biochar on those mine tailing areas. And because she knows, she researched well on the use of biochars. So I have also explained to everyone about how it helps carbon sequestration, because it is an avenue in greenhouse gas mitigation. Ang biochar, nagiging hub siya ng mga microbes, soil microbes, especially yung mga tiny organisms. So it enhances the activity of these soil microorganisms. We have also this improvement in terms of chemical properties of soil because of the cation exchange capacity and water holding capacity, and also increase the surface area and pore volume. Ito yung kanilang sino-showcase lagi, the increase in surface area and porosity. So I'll be giving you examples to better understand ano ba itong sinasabi kong CEC, ano ba itong sinasabi kong surface area and porosity. Marami po akong example niyan mamaya. So enhance plant growth by supplying more nutrients and providing other soil functions. So what is soil health? So sa ating title ng webinar, this is just yung pinaka-aim natin is to have a better soil health. So soil health is an assessment of the ability of the soil to meet its range of ecosystem functions, yung mga nabanggit ko pong functions, as appropriate to its environment. So used to assess the ability of the soil, sustain plant and animal productivity and diversity, maintain or enhance water and air quality, support human health and habitation. So level up na tayo. So we are not talking about soil fertility only. This is not about enhancing this the status of this soil, yung capability niya to hold these nutrients and to supply it to the plant. Now we are enhancing, mag-level nga tayo. Ito naman ay yung soil quality and soil health. Pag sinabi natin soil quality and soil health, nandun na tayo sa functions. Kaya kaya yun ang introduction ko, yung uses nito sa ecosystem functions. Because biochar ay hindi lamang sa soil fertility. Biochar itself is not a fertilizer. Kaya nga po, ang designation natin sa kanya is soil amendment. But there are many ways how we enhance biochar. Kaya yun din po ang aking i-explain because of enriching biochar. Meron po tinatawag na enriched biochar. So, with this, ang sinasabi kong leveling is we need to talk about the functions of soil, yung kanyang sa ecosystem, and also ang functions ng mga properties when you incorporate biochar into the system. So biochar production in a soil health system, we will be starting on the feedstock assessment. Pag sinabi natin feedstock assessment, kailangan malaman natin, we need to follow the IBI protocol on sustainability na ano ba yung available materials natin sa ating mga lugar. So, feedstock assessment. Sa feedstock assessment, kailangan natin maintindihan kung ano ba ang katangian ng mga feedstock na to. Let's say, between rice hull, between rice straw, corn leaves, corn cob, animal manures, ano ba difference niya ng swine manure sa chicken dung, o kaya naman sa cattle manure o sa goat manure. So marami. So ang ginagawa namin ay i-assess mo itong mga feedstock na to. And afterwards, ano ba ang requirement ng pyrolytic cook stove? Ito po yung sa akin, particularly sa akin, ano ba yung requirements noong na-develop ko na cook stove. Sorry mali spelling. Dapat lang ah, walang C. So ano ba yung requirements? I will be discussing that later. And then after that, I designed the pyrolytic cook stove because I have these requirements and I designed what I want for the cook stove. And then I started with the production of biochars, application of biochars and affinity. Ano ba yung klase ng aking gagamitan ng biochar? Mga problem soils, acidic soil, sandy soil, and so on. And then I will be studying yung biochar microbe soil biota interaction, yung interaction niya. And then I will be assessing ano yung naging improvement ng soil qualities para masabi ko na ma-improve yung soil health. Sa improvement of soil qualities, you will be using indicators. Baka in your mind, paano mo gagawin yon? I will be using indicators, physical, chemical, and biological indicators, soil indicators. And ginagamit po yon abroad, paano nyo i-assess ang soil quality. And then that's the time na merong pong computation yan, and that's the time that you will be telling in front of my face, sasabihin mo, hey, I improve the soil health. So, ganun lang yung relationship with the biochar production and soil health system that nasa programa ko, nasa ginawa ko at ginagawa ko po hanggang sa oras na to. So, other soil amendments, meron tayong tinatawag na bentonite. So tapos muna po tayo sa sa biochar. So we can accommodate questions after this lecture material. So improving soil fertility through clay amendments. So ang bentonite po ay a bentonite clay ay isang ordinary clay na naturally occurring. Meron pong tinatawag na two silicate layer. Technically, huwag nyo na pong anuhin lang, basta information lang po sa inyo. Meron pong two silicate layer, so makikita nyo po na meron pong silica, alumina, saka silica, meron pong interlayer. Kaya tinatawag pong 2:1. Hindi ko na masyado pong i-discuss, pinakita ko lang po. Ito yung kanya pong makikitang sa morphology. So, bentonite is very popular in using in improving soil fertility at this especially sa mga areas na malaki ang land degradation. So we have this significant reduction of productive capacity of the land. So meaning to say we have this increasing world population and meeting the food demands. Ito rin po yung tanong ko, nasabi ko kanina. So, we have different farming practices. We have sustainable, unsustainable, or we have suitable and not suitable. Magkakaiba po yun. And sa bawat isa, we have different policies and also economy, climate change, and variability. So I have here a map. Ito yung map ng soil degradation. So for those areas na very degraded is colored red. Degraded soil are dark yellow and light yellow for the stable soil, and without vegetation are yung gray. So you can see that ang Pilipinas po sa isang mapa na 1:500 ang kanyang scale ay karamihan po ay degraded soil. Nakakatakot kasi talagang marami na tayong unproductive and degraded soil. Going back to your high school days, so napag-aralan nyo siguro ang periodic table of the elements. So, sa nutrition, sa plant nutrition, ang ating tinitingnan dito ay essential nutrients at saka beneficial nutrients. na makikita po natin ang properties mula sa periodic table. Why I am saying this? Kasi po importante po ito sa cation exchange capacity. Yung pong ating pinag-uusapan palagi, huwag niyo pong kalimutan, hindi po kaya ng mga plants to take up nutrients kapag hindi po merong negative at may positive charge. Kailangan po ay sila ay nasa available forms. Sa periodic table po, sila ay simple lamang na as element. Hindi pa sila nutrients. So when you applied, for example, an organic fertilizer, that is the reason why bakit po hindi kagad sa tanggap dahil sasabihin ng farmers ay ang tagal naman umepekto. It is true because this element, especially the nitrogen, will be needing the help of the microbes, soil microbes, to mineralize itong nitrogen into ammonium and nitrate. So with this, sa soil fertility and plant nutrients, we will be dealing with essential nutrients and also maybe you may heard that meron din pong beneficial nutrients. But I will be just focusing on the essential nutrients. So kapag kayo po nag-research, you have 16 essential elements. Kapag kayo ay nagsabi, nakakita ng there are 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 essential nutrients, the others, bukod po dito, yung lumampas po sa 16, lumampas po dito, ang tawag na po sa kanila ay beneficial nutrients. They may be acting like essential o importante sa isang crop but not to all crops. Kumbaga specific lamang sa mga crops na yun. Kaya ang tawag po ay beneficial. Like for example, silicon, importante siya sa rice production. Ganun lang po. With this, ang ating importante, nutrients coming from air, we have the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and we have the primary, secondary, and the micronutrients. Review lang po yan. So, ang ating laging, what is now, na tinitingnan natin is the primary nutrients, the NPK. Pero, ang halaman ay laging nitrogen. Because in many Philippine soils, lagi pong depleted ang nitrogen. Sabihin nating majority ng soil ng Pilipinas ay depleted na po sa nitrogen. Even if you want to have a qualitative analysis or quantitative analysis, you may find that nitrogen is always depleted. Bibihira kayo makakita ng magandang nitrogen concentration in a cultivated soil. Kaya pag sinabi po nating qualitative analysis, ito po yung may dalada kayong soil test kit, you examine your soil at ang ibibigay lang sa inyong categories low, medium, and high. And then meron yung corresponding recommendations on how much of the chemical fertilizer you will be applying. That is yun yung katangian ng soil test kit. That is a qualitative means of determination or measurement of nitrogen. The other one, meron po kukuha kayo ng tamang pamamaraan ng soil sampling, and you will be submitting your samples to the lab to be analyzed using Keldal method o kaya any other method in the lab. Ang tawag po doon ay quantitative method. Ibig sabihin, pag sinauli po sa inyo yung iyong soil sample, ang ibibigay na po sa inyo ay values. Ibig sabihin, pag nakakuha kayo ng ganitong value, ay malalaman nyo kung ang inyong lupa ay mataas o kaya naman mababa sa nitrogen. So parang ano rin po yan, parang nagpakuha kayo ng blood sa hospital, yung blood chemistry, na malalaman nyo at a certain critical nutrient level, ito po, saan pumapatak yung nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Depende doon sa in-applyan nyo. Binayaran nyo pala sa lab ng mga analysis. So, depende doon at ibibigyan din kayo ng mga values. Yun po ay quantitative analysis. For me, every time I submit samples, either it is organic fertilizers or soil, lagi ko pong kinukumpleto ito pong NPK, calcium, magnesium, lahat po yan kasi gusto ko pong pag-aralan ang relationships nila. Pero I'm telling po, medyo expensive, kaya normally po ang nagagawa na lamang, especially for NPK, is for the fertilizers, kaya soil organic amendments, the NPK, at pati na rin po yung requirement ng concentration ng mga heavy metals. That is for those people who want to commercialize their product o mag-register under BAPS. I won't be discussing today ito po sa lecture. Hindi po in-include ang mga requirements ng soil organic amendments kasi po na-discuss ko na yon sa last webinar. So nagdidire-diretso na lang po ako dito sa main topic, yung requirement po sa akin discuss. So we have nutrient storage and we have this absorbed nutrients, dissolved nutrients. So yung interactions niya and availability will be able to help us para sa plant growth. Now, soil fertility is being associated with cation exchange capacity. So, according to many, it's a measure of soil's ability to hold and release cations. So, sinasabi nga, CEC sa measures that a number of cations a soil can attract its colloids.
Sa mga activity na online.
So, ito po yung para natin maintindihan. You have here a root. Ang kailangan po natin is young roots. Siyempre, ang interaction po ay nasa root hair. And after that, you have this clay particle, which is negatively charged, bind cations. And you have the available mineral cations are released into the soil solution if you applied any nutrients. And these cations are exchanged for hydrogen ions obtained for carbonic acid or formed from the plant. Para po makuha dito ng halaman through kanyang root hairs saka young roots, kailangan niya ngayon na makipag-exchange siya ng nutrients. So ito po ay tinatawag na inorganic colloids. Meron po kasing dalawang klase ng soil colloids. Ito po yung organic colloids at saka po ang inorganic colloids. Kaya ang tinitingnan po natin dito ay ang kagandahan ng cation exchange capacity. Ang chemical properties po kasi, ang CEC ay lagi pong nakarelate yan sa ano ba yung kakayahan noong isang lupa. At sabi ko nga, meron dalawa pong soil colloids. Soil colloids, ito po yung organic saka inorganic. Ang inorganic po ay laging ang association niya ay nasa clay. Kaya po ang tawag doon ay inorganic colloid. Sorry ho kasi medyo technical, pero gusto ko lang pong ipaintindi na sa lupa po, ito po yung tinatawag nating inorganic colloids na associated po sa clay. Meaning to say, kapag pumataas ang concentration ng clay ng lupa ninyo, mas malaki ang tendency niyang makipagpalitan yung cation exchange. Kapag halimbawa, nandun kayo sa sandy soil, mas kakaunti po yung clay content. Ibig sabihin, yung cation exchange capacity niya po ay kakaunti. But don't forget, meron din po tayong organic colloids. Ito pong organic colloids, ito po yung inherent constituents of soils. O kaya ito po yung product of the biological decomposition of organic residues that yielded simple products like carbonic acid. Ayan, makikita nyo po, you have the carbonic acid, you have the CO2 and mineral nutrition. Ito po ay isang complex high molecular weight, that is tawag nating humus. Kaya pag kayo nakakita po ng drawing na hindi ko lang po in-include dito kasi na-lecture ko na ito last time, dalawa po yun, meron po minsan humus ang nakalagay dito sa clay. Halimbawa po, lalagyan natin ng isa dito, ang humus, yung po yung organic colloids. Kapag marami kayong in-apply naman ng organic fertilizers, instead of clay, meron pa rin po siyang additional organic colloids. So, ang role po nito ay makikipagpalitan siya ng nutrients kung ano ang available sa hydronium ion. Meron po itong computations para gaano pa ang yung cation exchange. Meron po kaming ginagamit dito para maintindihan talaga how many grams po ang kailangan para makipagpalitan sila dito sa hydrogen ion. Sorry ho, hindi ko kasi siya maibaba sa madaling intindihan kasi yun po yung kahalagahan noong cation exchange. Wala po kasing akong maisip na Tagalog. So, these colloid particles consist of a flat, thin plate with a lot of negatively charged surface to hold and store large quantities of cations. Ngayon, a plant can trade for the nutrients it can produce with hydrogen ion. Pwede siyang makipag-trade in using this hydrogen coming from water. So, this exchange is continually taking place between the roots and the negatively charged particles in the soil. And that means that is the CEC, the cation exchange capacity, which is very useful indicators for soil fertility. Because it is the soil which is efficiently storing cations plants that cannot access. Siya yung gumagawa ng paraan para magkaroon ng accessibility of this cation exchange. So, the application of clay, ito po ay isang klase ng lupa, itong acrisols, strongly weathered soils, surface horizons depleted of clay, coarse structure, light texture, sandy, loamy sands, sandy loams, and low organic matter content. Ito po yung kanyang characteristics. Ito po yung kanyang kulay. Ito yan, isang klase po ito ng lupa na very common po sa tropics. Ito po. We have a low level of fertility, low CEC, susceptible to productivity decline because of leaching. And we are in the tropics, so we have, it's experiencing high temperature. So this is again another explanation about CEC. That you have here a negatively charged particles and or humus particles. So ito po, na pag sinabi pong clay particles, siya po yung inorganic colloids, humus particles, siya po yung organic colloids, hold and store positively charged ions. Kaya hawak-hawak po yan, no, na nakikipag-negotiate siya doon sa young plant root sa root hairs. So plant roots exchange hydrogen cations for essential nutrients itself. It cannot produce for itself. Kaya po, very important na lahat po, kaya ko pinesent po yung periodic table sa essential nutrients, kailangan natin maintindihan na hindi makukuha po ng different proseso ng halaman itong mga nutrients ito pag wala po siyang valences. Ang tawag po ay valences positive or negative. To be able to identify if it is anion or cations. Kung wala yan, hindi po siya pa pwede. Gagamitin mo na po siya, kaya nandun naka-store lang siya sa lupa until such time it will be mineralized by the soil organisms, specifically the soil microorganisms. So here comes the bentonite. So for sandy soil, ay nag-a-add sila ng bentonite to sandy soil, ini-incorporate yan. So you are doing the standard farming practices, fertilization, weeding, transplanting. Tapos you can have also the available water, plant available water holding capacity and nutrient retention. So again, when you add this bentonite, ito yung mga ni-research sa Northeast Thailand. Ito po ay hindi ko data, ito po ay data ng taga-IRI na gumagamit sila ng bentonite, glass house pot trials, they have 10 to 60 tons of bentonite. Field trials, they are using the same rate, 10 to 60 tons bentonite per hectare, and farmers experiment 0.3 to 10 tons per hectare. Ngayon, ang results po, sa rice po to rice, you have 5 tons per hectare clay, they yield 46 times higher. Yung 60 tons hectare of bentonite clay yields 17% and 30% higher, broadcast and banded. So, method po ito ng application. Yung iba naman po ay incorporation. Pag nag-land prep, kasama na po siya. Pag ito naman pong broadcast and banded, ito po ang nakuha. Meaning to say, very effective po ang bentonite kapag kasama siya sa land preparation. It means you are improving, you are mixing them properly with the soil. O incorporate talaga into the soil. So you have now farmers which has increased of 0.5 to 1 ton per hectare because they have a very minimal amount. So at least meron po siyang increase of times 2 hectares. So ito po ay isang clay amendment applications, hindi naman siya pa na-popularize. Naging familiar po ako sa bentonite because in enriching biochar, ginamit ko po ang bentonite ng isa sa mga estudyante ko na siya po yung nag-coat sa biochar to produce fertilizer na meron po kaming computations on the enrichment of biochar. So normally, sa inyong palagay, because this is a new technology, probably sa inyo kung hindi pa kayo nakakarinig ng incorporation of bentonite. So, ang mga researchers, meron yung perception of such agricultural innovations. Kayo, let's say ang perception nyo as a farmer because we're exposed sa extension work. So, ano ang inyong probably perception on such agricultural innovations? Kasi po ito ay example ko sa mga estudyante ko. This is an assignment to them na anong pag nagro-role playing sila. Sige, itong researcher's perception and what is farmer's perception because this is an added input. So kung wala na ang pambili ng fertilizer, how much more is pambili ng bentonite. Okay, I stop sharing. Okay, that's my second lecture. Maybe I can accommodate questions, Manny?
Yes, ma'am. Meron po tayong question sa Q&A. Meron po tayo ditong na-raise na mga ilang questions. Ano po? Unahin mo natin yung nasa Q&A box po natin before yung mga nag-raise na hand kanina. So, maganda pala i-premix ang biochar sa fresh manure such like chicken dung or cow manure para maiwasan ang emission ng mga night gas pollution. Yan mami yung una from Silver or si Elias ng Region 9 ATI. Yun yung una niyang clarification. And pangalawa, ma'am, Madam, are you familiar with liquid smoke using like rice hull? Okay, and the other one is, in my practice, from Roderick E. Lucas, in my practice, I process 15 double sacks of rice hull to create CRH and collect of drum of liquid smoke for insect repellent. Do you have studies or data about the liquid smoke? I use the liquid smoke for fungicides also, but I don't have the data to enhance my awareness to use the solution. And then the last one is, where do we buy cheap bentonite clay? Mahal sa Watson eh. Ito yung pampakinis, di ba ma'am? Yun po yung question sa Q&A po natin.
Okay. Clear ba yung audio?
Yes ma'am, clear po.
Let's say, nakalimutan kong banggitin kanina doon sa procedure natin sa production ng biochar. Carbonized rice hull is also considered as biochar.
Yes.
Ang kailangan lang natin, yung carbonizer natin, we need to keep it less ang oxygen. Kasi sometimes nakikita kong carbonized rice hull almost ash na.
Nakakachag.
So don't forget, when you prepare carbonized rice hull, you need also to protect the integrity of the rice hull. Kailangan hindi siya it can be considered a biochar product, depende sa use niya. Kasi kung gagamitin niyo siya, yung kanyang properties, kailangan maalagaan niyo yung integrity. Na huwag niyo nang paabutin doon sa siya ay nag-a-ash. Kita niyo yung butil-butil, sana ma-maintain niyo yung kanyang butil ng grain. Para you still have that amount of carbon inside that grain, that rice hull grain. The reason why in many researches on biochar, very particular siya sa temperature. Kasi yung siguro mamaya explain ko na. Kasi yung tinatawag na porosity, yung pores ng bawat feedstock, gumuguho kapag mataas ang temperature. So what I driving at is ganito. Yung aking stove, mini-maintain namin ang temperature between 300, 350 to 600, 650 degrees centigrade. So sa development namin ng stove, alam na namin kung ilang oras ang bawat feedstock. Makikita niyo yan sa presentation ko later. Ang tawag po doon ay residence time o simple word ay cooking time para lang siya maging biochar. Ang kailangan natin dito ay yung integridad mo sa production. Kaya sinasabi nating pyrolysis para hindi magiba, para hindi mabago yung forma niya. Ang ating hinahabol dito ay yung amount of carbon that will be retained and also yung internal pores niya. Mahirap kasi this is already a nanotechnology. Ipakita ko na lang mamaya sa presentation ko. Probably we can reserve the properties of biochar after my presentation. But I will just stick doon sa answer. Yes, carbonized rice hull, if you will be producing carbonized rice hull in a good faith, okay la, it is considered also biochar. And it is cheaper kasi using biochar, maybe also in international market, mahal pa kasi ang biochar because it's hard to produce because of the requirements. At bakit siya may requirements, sabihin ko na lang, ma'am. Ano pang question?
Ma'am, yung exchange from Noel regulation, yung exchange po ba ng positive at negative charge ay only you move alone or with the help of the microbes or other processing agent?
Paano ko ba sasabihin na to? Kasi that's already part of the chemical properties of soil. So, halimbawa po, yung iron, Fe, pwede po siya maging Fe plus 2, pwede po siya maging Fe plus 3. Meron po kasi tinatawag na oxidation process, merong reduction process. Ito po ay hindi lamang hindi lamang sa characteristic ng lupa, but also yung exposure sa water, exposure din sa ibang mga factors. Katulad po nung parang mansanas ba? 'Di ba pag tayo ay nag-open ng mansanas, you can see na white siya, pero after some time nagiging brownish na siya because of the oxidation process. Ganon din po ang mga nutrients, meron siyang oxidation reduction, meron pang ibang mga proseso, may mineralization, may denitrification. So ito ay sa tulong ng mga microbes. Hindi ko na siya naging parte ng aking lecture, but that is part of the chemical properties. Yung mga nitrate, yung naging NO3, nagiging NO2, kasi gawa ng mga denitrifiers. Tapos yun namang ammonium, NH4+, nagiging NO3+, kasi gawa rin yun ng mga pangyayari sa soil. Pero yung plus or minus, yun ay hindi na mababago. Halimbawa po, NO3, isang minus. Hanggang dun lang po yun. Kasi meron tayong nitrogen is 14, oxygen is 16, multiplied by 3. Yun lang po yung valence niya. Wala na po yung yun po ay chemical property niya na.
Okay, ma'am. Saan daw po tayo makakabili ng murang bentonite clay? Mahal daw sa Watson eh.
Ay, iba yun. Iba yung Watson. Yung Watson, pampaganda naman yun. Hindi yung pang soil.
Okay.
Ang ginawa namin ay naghanap lang kami sa Lazada last time. Yun po yung agricultural bentonite. Kasi po mahal talaga pang Watson kasi pampaganda na yun. Totoo yung ginagamit kasi siyang facial mask. Because of it is clay. Kung 'di ba, kung pupunta kayo ng Israel, doon kayo sa Dead Sea, 'di ba? Naggagamit kayo ng clay. So ganun din naman ang that is clay, ha? That is clay. That is a high 100% sodium chloride. Kaya maganda yung reaction. But what I'm referring is also a clay, a bentonite clay, a member of the silicate clays. Kaya lang siya ay for agricultural purposes. Normally, hindi lang po kami nabili sa
may mura ma'am ngayon yan. May discovery ngayon bago si Jessica doon sa cave. Sa Cebu ba yun? Na-discover. Anyway, another questions. Yung three techniques in biochar enhancement, direct treatment, pre-treatment, post-treatment. Nasubukan daw po ba ninyo?
Pakiulit, Manny?
Have you tried po ba yung three techniques in biochar enhancement, direct treatment, pre-treatment, and post-treatment?
When you are referring about enrichment, it depends on the nutrient that you want to enrich it depends on the treatments that you want to use. For example, if I want nitrogen o kaya nitrogen enriched biochar, you need to use other technique. Kaya lang, iba-iba po ang methods. Ako ay gumawa ng sarili kong method on enrichment. Ang mga estudyante ko po, kasi yun nga, they are also adapting different with modification. Ay nako, halimbawa po, ganito example ko sa inyo ha. Halimbawa po, nag-formulate ako na ang gusto ko ay 20-10-10 complete fertilizers. 20% nitrogen, 10% P2O5, and 10% K2O. So nag-prepare ako ng solution and I want my biochar to be enriched. Since na wala po kapabilidad yung laboratory namin to control this other processes, yung volatilization. Kasi while you are preparing, example, I'm using urea. When you are preparing, nag-volatilize na siya. So, preparation pa lamang and mixing the solution, marami ng losses. So, nung inanalyze ko, ay almost ang naging ay 13% instead of 20%. Parang naging 13, 8 yata. So with that, you can adapt different enrichment process, and there are lots, and you can find in many journals different way of enriching biochar.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, another three, from Roderick Lucas. Do you collect the moisture of your biochar to produce liquid?
I am more on the production. My stove is more on the production of biochar, and I don't produce uh, um, the vinegar.
Ano daw po, ma'am? It is useful to use the liquid smoke as part of organic fertilizer.
In my experiences, marami akong tinest, the application of the vinegar is so hard because that is so concentrated, and you need only to apply that vinegar in sa drench application. It is very hard and very risky to put that vinegar mixing with fertilizers kapag spray. It is good. Totoo, maganda kasi it is also may property siya na nabanggit kanina na pesticidal property. Kasi some people are using that vinegar for as a pesticide, hindi as fertilizer. Pero may component siya ng but very little percentage of the vinegar. Normally, mga kulig ko and those people who are producing biochar, we are more, hindi mo pwede kasi pagsabayin yan. You need to select one. Kasi for me, I prefer the production of biochar using slow pyrolysis. And you need only to have a fast pyrolysis para naman doon sa production mo ng vinegar. So different process. You will be sacrificing one. Hindi pwedeng sabay. At ako, mas gusto ko kasi handling vinegar for me, sa akin lang naman, mas nahihirapan ako, and for me, ang uses of biochar is more important for me kasi siyempre, soil specialist ako, mas gusto ko siya kesa sa ano. I tried different vinegar from different countries. Binibigyan ako ng mga colleagues ko coming from China, Korea, iba-iba. And it's very hard to handle. Kasi masyado siyang concentrated. Nasusunog yung mga ibang experiments. Kasi marami na nagpa-test sa akin. And that's my experiences. Probably to some, okay lang. Pero
recording in progress.
I prepared it as in biochar.
Ma'am, another question from Fermin Yamata Jr. Is biochar needs to be pulverized before application in the soil?
Nag-choppy ka sa akin?
Kailangan daw po bang i-pulverize muna bago i-apply sa lupa ang biochar?
That is the recommended one by many scientists. Para siyang clay. Clay is less than 0.002 millimeter. And in many research journals, they are pulverizing the biochar before application. Even those that are being enriched by nutrients, they are in pulverized form. And pwede naman siyang i-pulverize form muna and then ipepelletize mo later. So enriching o kaya the biochar, katulad ng ginagawa ng marami, ako din ginagawa ko, pinupulverize ko muna siya, tapos I have a pelletizer, pinipellet ko naman siya. So, blending with other nutrients, blending with organic fertilizer, I also blending it with mineral fertilizers.
Okay. Kuya Mac, pwede ba nating ma-open yung mic na iba? Hindi kaya, no? Hindi nag-open? Na-unmute? We have another, Sir Roderick. Mayroon pa bang pwede kaming bigyan ng time for your additional question? Sir Roderick Lucas, i-unmute ka po namin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rinig po ako.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, ma'am. Rinig po ako.
Yes, Sir Roderick.
Yes, clear.
Hi. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good morning po. Nice to be here. So, your topic is very interesting po kasi I used to practice biochar in the farm. talagang gamit po talaga namin to ever since na na-develop po namin yung farm. So, I was curious lang po doon, so why you're not able to collect the liquid smoke sabay, which is ginagawa po namin sa farm. Kasi yung ano po namin, yung drum po namin, kinoconnect lang po namin ng kawayan na mahaba para makolekt po namin yung liquid smoke at the same time, para wala pong waste. So, ganun po yung application namin. So I was wondering po, ano po, kung meron po ba kayong data, kasi hindi pa ako ganun ka-guided sa data ng liquid smoke eh. So yung CRH po talagang guided na po kami, alam na po talaga namin use. Talagang napakaganda po ng CRH sa application po ng organic. Though yung yung liquid smoke, medyo limited pa po yung aking knowledge eh. Hindi pa ganun ka. Ang alam ko lang po i-ratio doon is pag nagdidelete po ako sa isang pang-spray ko, isang lata ng sardinas lang po ang gamit ko eh. Para ma-minimize ko lang po yung hindi masunog yung dahon ng aking halaman. Ganun po.
Na-analyze mo na ba yung liquid smoke mo? Kung ano nutrients niya?
Actually, ma'am, ang alam ko lang po is fungicide. And then anti-repellent po siya, ayaw po ng mga
pesticide.
Yes, ma'am, yes po. Malayo po siya doon sa aking mushroom house kasi nga fungicide po siya. Tapos ayaw din po siya ng mga antique, ng mga langgam. So ginagamit ko rin po sa mga mangga ko. Then at the same time po, yun po, doon po sa aking bedding sa mga goat manure ko, sa mga pig manure, ini-spray ko din po siya para malis po yung mga bacteria, yung mga non-pathogenic doon. I think nakakatulong in a way. Ganun po ang aking
That's very good. Yeah.
Opo.
That's very good. Kasi ang ginagamit mo, drum, di para siyang kiln method.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yung drum ko po kasi is butas-butas.
Anong temperature ang gamit mo?
With regards to temperature, ma'am, kasi monitoring po ako eh. So ang gawa ko, may drum po akong malaki, may mga butas po sa gilid, tapos may tubo akong malaki na ang size, I think it's 4 o 5 yata yon, na i-connect ko dun sa kawayan na mahaba, na yung smoke lalabas dun sa pinakadulo ng kawayan. So yung moisture po nun, nako-collect ko dun sa may balde ko, sa may bandang baba ng drum. So wala po na-waste. And then, yung pag-lip ko po ng rice hull po, from time to time po, na-upright ko po yan para hindi nasusunog o hindi naaabo. Ganun po ang aking role play doon. And then, actually po, sa isang mass production po namin, kunyari magdamag po, magsasalang po ako ng bandang alas 5 ng hapon, mga 27 sacks of double rice na rice hull, kasi mura lang po ang rice hull doon sa province eh. Nakakuha ko siya ng 7 pesos. So isang double bag po. So pag mass produce po kami, yung 27 sacks po ang nakukuha ko po na-harvest ko po rin is 15 sacks of CRH. Tapos yung sa liquid smoke naman po, nakakapag-harvest po ako sa magdamag ng isang balde. So ganun po yung aking naging application, ang aking practice dun sa farm. So I'm just wondering po kung talagang yung data is na po sa inyo. Kumbaga meron na kayong studies or kasi itong application ko for curiosity kasi na-curious ako ba't ako nasasayang smoke. So what I did, nag-connect ako ng kawayan. So it's very maganda nga ay naging aking practice. May share ko lang din, ma'am. Opo.
Kasi thank you for sharing very interesting.
Yes, ma'am.
At nakakatulong ka talaga sa environment kasi your priority is collecting the wood vinegar.
At the same time, ma'am.
Yes. Ang kasing question ko sa'yo ay ano ang temperature mo nung loob ng iyong drum?
Ma'am, kasi di ba pinapasang po natin ng kahoy yan? Kasi ako ko,
That's the thing. Yun yung ating difference. Yun ang kasi difference natin. Kasi to produce a biochar, you need to have a very complete information. Especially, I am in the academic community.
Yes, ma'am.
Kailangan nyo ng estudyante. Kailangan ko rin sa research. I cannot publish my papers without analyzing everything. So, ganito, to make a biochar, kailangan ang ginagamit ko nga is low pyrolysis. So kapag slow pyrolysis, hindi halos ka umabot kasi ini-expand ng cook stove ko yung heat sa loob. And I stop already after magawa yung biochar. Wala na kaming additional feeding. So nag-stop na siya. Kaya nga ang yung sinabi kong mga methods in the production of biochar will be dependent on how yung mga fast pyrolysis.
Yes po.
Ang kailangan lang doon ay paano mo siya ipuproduce with little or zero oxygen and protecting the integrity of the integrity of your feedstock. Kasi hindi sa akin unit hindi pwedeng mag-produce kasi slow pyrolysis ako at saka very limited lang yung time, yung cooking time.
Okay
So
po.
hindi na siya aabot na mag-i-smoke siya.
Okay, ma'am.
Hindi na rin kami again nag-feed ng feedstock. Only one time pagkalagay mo doon, yun lang. Tatapusin mo lamang yun. Abroad, ang lalaki yan. Para yung siguro lalaking building nila, yung kanilang pyrolysis. Meron talagang separate exhaust for marami kasing product ang biochar meron pa rin bio oil, iba-iba yung mga products niya. Sa isang commercial, meron talagang outlet para doon sa ibang products of pyrolysis, bio oil, as yung wood vinegar. Pero my unit is just very simple. Pinakita ko ng cook stove sa'yo. So,
Yes, ma'am.
No intention of producing wood vinegar.
Actually, ma'am,
If
another
you
thing
found yourself, very good yung ginawa mo because instead of kalat-kalat lang yung rice hull, you are converting it into carbonized rice hull. At the same time, you are producing wood vinegar.
Yes, ma'am.
Marami
Actually, ma'am, hindi lang po
I
wood
don't have
vinegar.
data. I don't have data. I have lots of
I
data
see.
on biochar, but wala akong data sa wood vinegar. Kasi hindi, once ko siyang ginamit and coming from China yung wood vinegar, bamboo vinegar.
Okay.
Wood vinegar from bamboo. Very concentrated siya and I use them as drench application lamang. Maganda kasi
Sige.
you are avoiding the pest and diseases.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, pest and diseases. Kaya lang napaka delikado sa gagamit na masunog yung
Yes, ma'am. True po yan, ma'am. Very acidic siya.
You are very experienced to use them.
Yes, ma'am. Opo. Ma'am, kasi actually, na-share ko rin po kasi ito rin po isa sa mga gusto kong i-present kay ATI. Once na kompleto ko yung data, hoping one time makapag-present din po ako sa kanila kasi learning site po kami.
Oh, that's good.
Opo. So, kinakompleto ko lang po yung data and hoping one of this day makapag-ano sa kanila. Opo. Thank you, ma'am. Yun lang naman po aking
Thank you for sharing.
Have a good
And
one,
that's
ma'am.
very
Thank you.
good. Pagpatuloy mo.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Roderick,
Okay.
sa iyong nagkaroon ka ng input and then yung iyong research magandang discussion yun. Ma'am, we have two questions. Entertain lang siguro natin po. Yung isa po is patungkol naman ito sa ATI. Ano pong klase ng pyrolysis yung pagpuproduce ng carbonized rice hull na tinuturo ng ATI? I think ang tinuturo pa lang ni ATI yung paano pagproduce ng carbonized rice hull. So hindi pa tayo naging advanced kasi sabi natin yung mga research technologies or mature technology na meron tayo, ngayon pa lang natin nilalabas tong mga to sa pamamagitan ng ating mga series of webinar. So yung ating expert na-share sa atin, maybe we can discuss later kung ano yung mga pwedeng isagawa pa ng ETI through webinar. And then meron ma'am dito, ma'am, need po ba na ma-analyze ang liquid smoke and CHR, CHC? Ma'am, may video po ba kayo ng procedure sa paggawa ng biochar? Yun, ma'am, ang mga question.
Share ko, Manny.
Yes,
Share
ma'am.
ko. Ilang slides lang to. Ha?
Okay po, ma'am. Ma'am, another question po, no? Yung ating discussion for this morning, meron pa bang ipapresent kayo, ano? Kasi tingin ko po,
Ito nung
very
magsisipan ko
interesting.
tungkol sa stove.
Okay, ma'am. Sige po.
So, ano lang to, para masagot yung tanong,
Okay.
okay, this is development of this slow pyrolysis biochar producing stove. This is in collaboration. Kita na? Can you see the,
Yes, ma'am.
kita mo na slides?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
This is in collaboration with Bataan Peninsula State University. They are my study leaders, si Engineer Jonathan Lacayanga and Engineer Walter Valdez. So, ang significance niya, we have this abundance of biomass around us, and this is a biomass utilization. Kumbaga, we are helping yung Republic Act 9003, yung ating solid waste management, but this is in terms of biomass utilization. And of course, since biochar is produced for the purpose of soil amendment, soil amendment, so we have this objective for soil improvement, and then increased production of our crop, and also we have here energy for household. Ilang slide to? Or lang yata to eh. We have a design consideration. We have a low-cost material, simple in construction and easy to operate. Use of type of biomass available as fuel, utilization of natural air draft, generate energy for household cooking, attain pyrolysis between, that's 350 to 600 normally, convert biomass fuel into useful biochar, and acceptable gas emissions during operation, because we analyze the amount of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide being released during the charring time. So ito yung parts niya nung biochar. We have this holder, we have body part, we have the dalawa kasi yan, meron pa rin sa loob. And also secondary intake, pyrolytic chamber, volatile gas, firing and ignition. So these are just the parts. After this, after ka makapagluto, inaalis namin yan. We get that one from the inside at dinadry namin yung biochar. Kino-cool down, ha? Sandali lang. Ayaw forward. So, nilalagay yung mga feedstock. Tapos, naglalagay ka ng, sorry, lumampas. Naglalagay ka ng, hindi kasi ako gumawa nito, sorry, hindi ako marunong kasi gumawa ng nilalagay dito sa loob, parang, ano bang tawag natin pag nagluluto? Gatong. Naglalagay ka ng gatong dito at saka may gatong ka rin na maliliit sa itaas. So this is the reason why kailangan pag nag-ignite siya, ang purpose niya ay gagapang yung apoy sa loob para siya masunog, para siya ma-char. Tapos sarado siya, walang papasok na oxygen. At pagka-ignite mo, you have now the flame para gagapang siya sa loob. So if ang ginawa, pag gusto mo magluto, you can now cook because it is designed as cook stove. You can cook while you are producing biochar inside. So yun yung konsepto niya. At pag siya, ito yung kanyang barrel sa loob. Ibig sabihin, they have an exchanges of gas inside the body at nag-char na siya, naluluto na siya inside. So, I have a thermometer. I put the thermometer inside to be able to get what is really the temperature inside. Hindi lang outside, inside this. At para malaman namin kung paano, kung hanggang saan lang ang kanyang pagsunog. So kaya nasasabi namin, we start at a temperature of 300 up, it reaches up to 600. And depende ito sa klase ng iyong waste o yung feedstock. So after that, we will be collecting this at wala na siya rin, kakaunti na yung kanyang fire. Tinatanggal namin itong cover, and then immediately ito ang kanyang weakness. Immediately kailangan namin siyang buhusan ng ng tap water, o kaya sa estudyante kailangan sa thesis distilled water. Kapag lang for application lang doon sa aming demonstration farm, ang binubuhos namin is ordinary water. But if the biochar is being produced for a research thesis o kaya research ko, ang binubuhos namin is distilled water. Para walang ibang sources ng nutrients, kasi ina-count namin, pina-analyze namin yung what will be the composition itong biochar. So, imagine a temperature at 600 degrees here, itong ilalim na to, tatanggalin, bubusan mo ng tubig, di mawawala na siya, cool down na siya, aalsin namin, bubuhatin to, ilalagay namin sa labas, na meron kaming dryer sa labas, to dry itong remaining biochar, air condition. Yun na yung last process. Kaya ang aming unit, after several cookings, depende kung how many times you will be producing biochar, nagka-crack na, nagbabag down tong ilalim. So I already asked my mentor, yung Australian mentor ko, lahat sila, sinasabi nila, pati yung mga engineers dito sa amin, talagang ganon. Because kahit na anong tibay ng bakal dito na nilagay, kahit anong kapal, if you have that temperature and you will be pouring water talaga, there will be a time na magkakalas na siya dito. So, ang isang recommendation to us, kapag daw hindi naman sa research, ay buhusan na lamang ng sand to put off the fire pag entry ng oxygen, kasi di ba oxygen free siya. So pag inangat mo yung ibabaw, papasok na yung oxygen, syempre magliliyab yan. So immediately you pour water, o kaya naman ay yung sand. Yun yung isang kanyang isang problema. If ever na kami kasi ay ginagamit namin sa research. But for those people, kasi nag-distribute under this project, I distributed 20 units sa mga uplanders, sa mga people who are gumagamit ng stove dito sa Laguna. I have distributed 20 of these units. Ang sabi lang namin, after cooking, let the temperature go down. Tapos pag magluluto na uli sila, they collect this one at ilagay nila sa kanilang farm. So no rush, because this is just a contribution to help the environment. Using different feedstock, kapalit lang ng aking hinihingi when I distributed the 20 units. Pagkaluto ninyo po, paki-kolekta yung biochar, ilagay nyo na lang po sa farm nyo. These are those people who are in different parts dito sa Laguna. So, ang principle ng operation, you have the biomass at dry weight conditions. We have 15% moisture. And then, we prepare the pyrolytic cook stove. Tapos, meron nga, yun na explain ko kanina, remove the body cover where the holder was attached, and then remove the pyrolyzer cover. You the dried biomass, you load that in the waste chamber, making sure that there is enough space between the biomass for volatile gases to flow freely in the firing chamber, and put back the pyrolyzer cover. So meaning to say, before siya sunugin, kailangan ina-arrange namin to in a right manner na magkaroon ka ng free movement ng air. Kasi di ba tutulungan niya kasi nga itong fire to expand doon sa inner chamber. So yun yung kanyang pinaka principle, and after that you fire enough to start the pyrolysis process, and afterwards pareho pala siya, and dried leaves inserting the chamber where the bottom of drywood was located. So ang ginagamit namin ay itong denatured alcohol, napakabilis, place dried wood chips dip in denatured alcohol at the starting chamber and later ignite these wood chips. Ang bilis niya mag-create ng fire, and then afterwards we now have a list of different residues with different residence time. Ang residence time po ay yung charring time from the biomass that starts the pyrolysis. At after that, yung nakwento ko nga sa inyo na open the lid and immediately put off the fire by pouring water, collect the biochar and let them cool down. So, yun po yung proseso nitong paggamit namin ng stove. It is just an ordinary one kasi way back many years ago when ilang beses na kasi ako na-trained sa different parts ng China. Ang aking pong mentor ay isang Australian saka isang magaling na Chinese sa production ng biochar. So we toured different places in China to be able to see yung iba-ibang kanilang pyrolyzer, and then yung pong ibang mga taga Asian neighbor country like Vietnam, Nepal, Bhutan, may kanya-kanya silang stove. So they don't have problem in the production of biochar. Since bago yon, kasi napakabago niya dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, when I asked my mentor that I would like to do researches on biochar, kasi alam ko na tamang-tama sa carbon sequestration, being a soil scientist, sa carbon sequestration, I asked if I can copy o kaya use yung kanyang drawing na itong kanyang stove, and he agreed, kaya nag-modify ko yon and I applied it sa ating what you call this, IPO, and it was approved after 2.5 years. It was approved, and after a while I'm using it now. Bakit? Kasi po naghanap talaga ako ng biochar sa Lazada at saka sa Shopee, even sa Amazon. Hindi po nila masabi sa akin kung saan galing, anong feedstock yung ginamit. Basta sinasabi lang nila is biochar. No information how much temperature ang na-consume in the production of biochar. And that will be very important to me kasi po ako ay nasa university, and that will help my graduate students to perform ang kanilang mga thesis and dissertation. So what I did, I submit proposals sa NRCP, DOST, and it was approved. And then after a while also a continuation from DA bar. Don't pinik up po ni Manny yung aking output dito sa biochar from DA bar completed project. And that will be the one that I will be presenting later, yung aking pong output ng aking project. And one of the objective now is yung kanyang efficacy testing. Kasi syempre, tataas ang kilay mo. Ano kaya yan? Effective ba yan in terms of crop production? So let's see. And I will be presenting to you later after lunch siguro if what is your perception after the application of this biochar. Yun po yung kwento. Sa totoo lang po, I have mentioned to you that I have conducted itong biochar production. I even asked the president of the Philippine Biochar Association to attend to present the latest development on biochar in 2015 pa po yun, 2015, so that meron po tayong baseline information about the biochar production. I visited the BSWM, and then that time si Director Tejada pa po ang director, and I asked him kung ano po ba ang iba pang pwedeng researches nila on biochar. Sabi nila hindi nila alam kung ano ang biochar. So I conducted different lectures sa BSWM and just promoting the biochar so that alam natin kung ano yon and what's the difference with charcoal. And sa ngayon po, it is a nanotechnology at ito po ay nilalagyan na po ito ng mga chemicals, different fertilizers to be considered as fertilizer. Like I've said, hindi po kasi yung biochar mismo, hindi pa siya fertilizer. It is just a soil conditioner. So kung gusto niyo siya na dalawang purpose niya, mataas ang nutrients at the same time, with a very good porosity and for the improvement of soil properties, kaya po siya ini-enrich. Yan po yung uso ngayon, enrichment.
Ayun. Salamat ma'am sa napaka-informative mo na binigay, ano. At kagaya po ng nasabi ni Ma'am Pangga, wag po kayong bibitiw. Kasi po, mamaya yung pinakang kernel of this training or webinar, mamaya natin makikita yung result at saka yung economic benefits po nito na ating matutunghayan ay mamaya po natin ipagpapatuloy. Kaya wag po kayong bibitiw. Nandiyan po sa ating chat box ang ating attendance for this morning. At ganoon din po, meron po akong tagubilin si Kuya Mac para kayo makakuha ng certificate at saka ng inyong presentation materials. Kuya Mac? Sa attendance sheet po natin for this morning. And this afternoon, kailangan po yung ating maging attendance po dito ay kompleto, no? Para ma-identify namin yung mga nag-set-attend po dito. At yung mga upcoming activities, monthly po, meron po tayong webinar series po natin sa ATI, monthly po yan. At lahat po nag-attend po dito ay umasa po kayo padadalan po ng link kung saan po kayo ay nag-register. So doon po sa mga email na yan, padadalan po namin kayo ng link para sa mga webinar na ganito.
Okay, thank you very much, Kuya Manny, for that introduction. So, online participants natin sa Facebook, meron po tayong 85, no? So, some of the participants natin sa Facebook may tanong po dito, Doc Gina. So, parang curious siya how to get or how to collect smoke of CRH daw. Yan po, Doc. From Ma'am Azirij. Also, i-acknowledge natin yung mga participants from, may nakita ko dito na from Singapore. So, hindi lang po from Philippines yung mga participants natin. Wow. So, Doc Gina?
I'm sorry kasi I don't produce wood vinegar. I don't collect smoke for wood. That's yung distillation and condensation process. I don't do that. I'm only for biochar production.
Okay, I hope it's clear, ma'am, no? So, may presentation pa ba, Doc?
Mamayang hapon na.
Mamayang hapon na yung continuation. So, sa mga online participants natin sa Facebook, no? So, if you are willing to join the afternoon session, we already put the link po sa ating chat box or sa ating comment box po sa ating Facebook live para po ma-access nyo po yung main Zoom session natin dito online. So, yung attendance sheet po natin is nasa mga link na din po na nasa mga chat box na din po. Kindly click na lang din po para access po po yun. And also, ayun, i-close na po namin yung aming live Facebook on this webinar. So, see you po this afternoon. You can have your early lunch